So, welcome to Living That Life podcast.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Kia Orion. What do you call your podcast?
Creative Contact.
Creative Contact.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Well, you are in contact with some creative motherfuckers right now, and we are just creating and being real, as we like to say. So, context right now, we are in beautiful Bali, Indonesia, aka tropical paradise, aka spiritual paradise.
Facts.
Aka good vibes, aka one of the biggest digital nomad hubs
Facts.
in the world. And I am on a street that I've never seen before here in Canggu. He was like, I got this cafe rooftop spot, and that's where we're at. And I met this cat. Did we meet in Chiang Mai?
We did at digital, but
at the Nomad Summit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so yes, we met there. Kia is a beat maker, music producer, and he actually sent me an email like a number of months ago, sending music to a bunch of YouTubers, vloggers. He's like, check out my shit, and I was like, oh, I actually saw the email last night.
For those that don't know, Riley is a real motherfucker, man. So, as he said, I'm into music, and this is an honor because I've been watching this dude's stuff for ages. And
Sick.
So kind of as a hustle, if you're into any type of online content, is to work with content creators, obviously. So since I'm into music, I spend a lot of time just kind of hand-to-hand combat in people's DMs, sliding in saying, hey, I dig what you do, if you need music, etc., etc. And Riley, shout out to this man living that life, one of the very few folks that actually responded with something heartfelt and in just a way that was very human. And so I remembered that vividly, and this was because I was going back through the emails too yesterday. It was back in August, and so I was pretty new to Chiang Mai, but had been on your stuff for a minute. And then at the Digital Nomad Summit, saw Riley doing the vlogging thing, hopped up there, and
here we are,
and set us up, and here we are. So it's been cool too to kind of get to know you a little bit more outside of the.
Ooh, I got my spirulina mojito. I'll take it. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Oh, yes. Look at this. Hey. So right here,
appreciate it.
I have a spirulina mojito mocktail. This is the epitome of Bali right here.
Speaking of living that life, dude, I'm topless right now. You can tell I'm living good. I'm eating good out here in Bali.
Oh, my God.
I'm feeling a little bit chunky. The food out here is crazy. I almost want to stay out here just to eat.
Yeah, it's
next level.
It's crazy. So the thing is, back to the you sent me the email. I used to be a beat maker as well. So yeah, I can understand where she's coming from. I used to make beats. I used to fuck around with the Fruity Loops in high school. Very musically oriented person. I was just telling freaking Trinity and Ray, we're just hanging out, that my major was either going to be science or music.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I did it in the Instagram story.
Yes,
I've always been meaning to share that story.
That's crazy, man.
I almost went to music school at UW. Like, I remember going with my parents, got the tour of the audio engineering place. We were like scoping it out, like I was possibly going to do that.
That blows my mind because, and I think this is actually a testament to possibly you realizing it as well, is I should have gone for music production, but I didn't have the self-awareness back then or the balls to really go for it.
Like, in hindsight, it's all good because we have all these cheaper online courses now that probably teach you better than any freaking traditional university program. Did you go to college?
Yeah, so I went to college, but the whole time I was either trying to finesse ladies or make beats. And so I was doing the college thing, and I feel very blessed and very, incredibly privileged to have gone to college. But like you said, hindsight is 20/20, and now in retrospect, like the signs were always there, but there are, if you really can listen to, I think, what you want to do, a lot of times but the restraints of kind of culture and society of what you should do or what people think you should do or parents think you should do often, I think, get the best of people.
Yeah,
myself included.
That's the system, and it is what it is. But with the YouTube generation, with the internet generation, we see all these different possibilities. Like, oh, this kid is he's a YouTuber, he's doing this. This kid's a beat maker and he's successful, and this artist is independent. So many more opportunities to go off the standard path, and we're kind of in an age of try new things.
Yes.
Oh my God, like you can create a whole business from Instagram. There's unlimited case studies of businesses, $1 million businesses that blew up just because of Instagram.
And being out here, Bali, Chiang Mai, whatever, I think that's part of it. Is it wasn't until I kind of left that employee hustle and getting out here, like we said, actually we kicked it a few days ago.
Yeah.
That I feel like I'm getting kind of my MBA, just kind of in contact. You come in contact with people like yourself, like others that have built these things that you just don't even realize are a possibility when you're kind of in the box still. Until you allow yourself to kind of open your mind up, and then you realize, oh wow, and coming out here too, you realize like there's a gazillion ways to make it happen and make it work. It's just what are you passionate about, and are you willing to kind of take that first initial leap? You know what I mean? I was crazy, Riley. So today, because I knew you were doing this, I went back and stalked your shit hard on YouTube. So I got a couple questions.
Yeah.
The first one though is what happened to the Philippines cockfighting videos? Because I've been trying to see them.
Trying to find them?
Yeah, I couldn't find those joints.
So they've been going strong for 3 years. But I do have to do a toast to say RIP, because I got the 4th email from YouTube that says people have been flagging that shit as inappropriate. It's actually already has gotten 3 strikes. But I contested it all 3 times, and it ended up having it stay. Got the 4th strike, contested it again, but finally it's officially taken down.
Officially RIP. Okay, because
RIP.
I went. I was like,
RIP to all the fallen all the fallen roosters.
Yo, all the fallen roosters, especially being out here, dude. Fuck roosters. They be waking me up at like 5:20.
By the way, fuck roosters.
By the way.
Yeah.
Yes, fuck roosters, dude. 5:20 on the dot. Like right outside. I'm like here. I'll look at the phone. It's like 5:19. I'm like no. And then 5:20.
They be cockadoodle doing.
Yo, cockadoodle on the dot every day. I'm like, God damn it. But they're serious. Honestly, with those cockfighting videos, I see like. I see them. A lot of people have them kind of out here on the street and stuff. I give them a wider berth than I do a lot of these aggressive-looking dogs, just because and even just with the little teasers in your videos, you realize like those they don't play. You know what I mean? Those roosters they'll fuck you up.
Yeah. So
ASAP.
Did you know that in the cockfighting derbies in the Philippines, I have a link to it. So check the link in the description, because I think I put it on DTube, some of these other like crypto platforms.
Okay.
Did you know that they strap blades onto their talons?
No, that's probably why it was flagged.
See, people don't know that. People don't know that. They strap these 5-inch long curved razor blades, and I was like filming. They wrap it onto the talons like a boxer, and they're sticking out backwards. And so when they kick the feet up, they go. Yeah, they strap knives onto the feet. I think only one of the feet. Damn. And so I didn't know that. I was filming the whole it was like a mini documentary of like how they prepare the cock. How they prepare the cock. Yeah, it's a fucking cock. How they prepare the bird, and then how they before they put them into the ring, they like fuck with them. They like get them all agitated. Yeah, so when they get in there, they're like pissed off.
Because that I saw, it felt like some underground. It felt like a Vice documentary. Like because it was the guy who was taking bets, and it's like some shit you'd see in a movie. Like James Bond is gonna be like hanging out at one of those or something before he sees a bad guy coming. But it was just really interesting to kind of take a deep dive into your videos. I went back, saw the Manny Pacquiao one, which was nuts. Peaked this dude has a crazy Manny Pacquiao vlog. Yeah. There were a couple ones that I was curious that I knew you kind of spent. So there are certain places you've kind of posted up for longer amounts of time, but I think for my audience, your audience, probably knows a lot of this about you already. But I would love maybe a quick recommendation on like some of your like favorite spots that you've been that might not be the super touristy kind of what you'd expect type of places. I was going back through your stuff. I was like, damn, you've been around a lot of spots.
So the past 4 years, I've basically been posted up. I've been based in 4 places. So I'm on like the slow travel plan, whatever you want to call it. I'm not like moving all the time. It's like a number of months. So pretty much over the past 4 years, it's been a year and a half in Chiang Mai, about a year and a half in Bangkok, about 6 months in Saigon, Vietnam.
Word.
And now it's been like 5 months total here in Bali. And then that's probably like 3 years total. And then for the other 4 years, the The first year we did 3 months back home in the summer.
Okay.
Second year we did 2 months back home in the summer.
Mm.
Third year we did 1 month back home in the summer. And then this past July we did 2 weeks back home.
I'm seeing a trend. Yeah.
Anyway, doing it again, going back home. We always go home for July, for the 4th of July, in most of the month of July. So planning that again. But yeah, it's been just posted up in the digital nomad hotspots, and those all 4 are digital nomad hotspots. So we're just doing the digital nomad 4-year university.
Yeah.
Each year you're on a different campus and you're networking with different people, and in between those times we visited a shitload of places.
Yes.
And that's what you're referencing.
Yeah, some of your highest view, it was like Amsterdam.
Yeah,
There's
Amsterdam.
some in India.
India
Yeah,
has
I was
high
like,
views, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, man, I didn't. So, because and if you are thinking of traveling and stuff, and if you're a fan of Riley, you obviously know this. If you're in my audience, I think that might be relatively new to you, but that idea of slow travel, I think, is that's what I recommend as well, because you kind of get to really post up and get a vibe for the culture. You get to like go to the market and get, like your chicken lady at the market or something, which is, you really kind of get to build those relationships, which makes it a lot more fun rather than simply bouncing around so quickly. And that's, I think, kind of where the magic happens.
Yeah, you could call it slow travel, but I kind of just call it like living abroad.
Yeah.
Like, or it's like living wherever the fuck you want to live.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to go live in Portland for a while? Because like that's where people in Bali would say that's where your heart's taking you.
Yeah.
Follow your heart.
You're the energy people.
Yeah,
out here,
yeah.
so
Where's
real.
the energy taking you?
1000%. Yo, I'm hippy dipping into that.
Yeah,
but sometimes it can be.
Well, everyone's
bit
a little
much.
hippy dippy for
Yeah.
sure. It's just like how much you like express
How
it
much
or
you go
whatever.
into it,
For sure.
yeah.
But Bali, it's like just
It's
expressed
been
everywhere.
real out here.
We were just at this like sober dance party last weekend. Were you there?
Yes, for the
yeah.
cacao ceremony.
Yeah. It was awesome. I was just hanging out with Trinity today.
Oh shit.
So, Bali Mastermind Party, masterminded and concepted by this awesome American Filipino girl named Trinity, and we were just today at this orphanage in Denpasar. But rewind, she put on this huge Bali Mastermind Party last weekend, and it was like 200 people,
A lot of people.
in this big like gymnastics kind of like gym called Nirvana Strength. Super dope. You should check it out. I'm going there. If you follow me on Instagram, you've been seeing the snaps from they have a sauna, ice tub. Oh, I do that every afterwards.
You've been doing the.
I've been
Nirvana
working
job.
out there. Yeah.
I'd never seen before. I was like, yo, this is tight.
Yeah. Oh,
The gymnastic rings, it's
the
poppin'.
the gym is sick, and then the fact that they have an ice tub and a sauna, and I do that back and forth twice afterwards. It's like so nice. Oh my god. Anyway, so they did this huge mastermind thing, and they're gonna be doing these again in Bali. I'm not sure when, but basically, it was free to go to the party, and basically, it was a bunch of like entrepreneur, creative people meeting up, and it started with like some yoga, some like breath work yoga, like kind of like some Wim Hof type shit, and then some like meditation, and then there's like a talk by an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And then there was like a fire performance and like an acro dance, like flips and like I call it like acro tango, like the dude's like flipping the girl around
real
and shit.
sensual too at the same time.
And then afterwards there was this cacao ceremony, which beforehand I had no idea what the fuck that was.
I didn't
never
either.
heard of it. And it's basically it's a hippy dippy cheers. And instead of alcohol, everyone gets this cacao, which is like basically raw chocolate in a cup, and everyone has this raw chocolate, and you put it by your heart, and you're like doing this little prayer. It's like a meditation / group prayer / cheers. And she was saying like, yeah, you put your heart energy into the drink. You set your intentions like into the drink. You go to like west, north, east, south, and like you're doing like you're basically like praying. You're like set your intention to the north. Like, what do you want this year? Like for good luck or whatever. It's like you're like making a wish, and then like putting all your energy and your wishes into this like natural superfood drink. And then all at the very end, there's like some meditating music starts coming on, and then you like kind of like smell it, and then you like slowly just like take a little sip. It's like you're drinking your prayers or something. So it's like super hippie dippy shit. But like it's like it's real shit. It's like energy. Obviously we know we're energetic beings. So there's a lot of science, hippie dippy science if you want to call it, but like heart energy science to it as well. Anyway, and then after that
dance
The
part.
dance. So there's a sober dance party. I didn't really know what to expect. So the cacao is actually gives you an energy boost because it's like this raw, like chocolate gives you an energy boost. But this is like the fire straight from the cacao plant. So it actually gives you an energy boost. Like I felt it. It's like definitely, it's like the firest dark chocolate freaking drink, whatever. And then like. The meditation leader or whatever is like doing some more breath work, and then the music starts to come on a little bit, and then there's like she's doing some like I don't know little exercises to get people going.
I thought that was cool. She's almost like a hype DJ.
She's like hyping the crowd up, and then all of a sudden like the DJ starts like dropping these like beats, and like people start just like move around, and then it's like kind of chill, and then eventually the music starts getting more intense, and the lights go down. It was like, and then the music got real intense. And people were like started like swinging on the gymnastics bars, and like everyone's just like fucking having a sober like fucking rave.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
sober rave. Unfortunately, because I'm such an old man, like around after I drank the cacao, I was like, it just put me to bed. Like, I was just like ready. I just like dipped out and went to sleep. I saw some of the dance, and but I was like. Yeah. I'm an old soul, man. I'm like Benjamin Button for real. So I had to like go. I checked the deuces and bounced after that.
It was crazy. They were filming it. I was like bouncing, filming it, and actually taking part in like the raging. But yeah, I love music and like dancing, and it was like a fucking party.
Yeah.
Dance party like you would at a fucking dance festival or like EDM festival or something. Everyone bouncing around to the music, fucking getting it in the club like you would in the club, like off a bottle of vodka. Fucking getting it, fucking wash it, and like there's gymnastics motherfuckers like doing these cartwheels and like shit, and but that was the first time I've ever like danced like with a DJ and like in a crowd totally sober.
Really?
So yeah.
Interesting.
Totally, definitely. I've never fucking partied like sober. Like what? Like usually there's just a bar and you get a fucking drink.
I think it's interesting if you approach partying sober because of some strange health stuff. I can't drink, so I've never been like I used to party a lot like back in college, but it's interesting when you are like into those kind of vibes and partying as a sober dude. It can get complicated real quickly, one with ladies, and then two, if everybody else is drinking, it's like this. It's drunk people are a lot more fun when you're drunk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I really like that, like especially because so much of like hangout culture, whatever, is so often, especially in the States. I was from New York and the Philly, so often it's like, oh, you hang around drinking.
Yeah, social culture.
Exactly, social culture is alcohol. Where here, it's been really dope. I feel like there has been almost more of an emphasis on, it doesn't have to be sober, but just like it's less based on just simply alcohol.
Yeah.
Events.
Yeah, it worked because they warmed you up in different ways.
Yes.
Because like alcohol like breaks the ice and gets you loose. But beforehand we were doing these like exercises actually where you had to like go around to someone you didn't know and like fucking hold their hand for a second and like look into their eyes for like 10 seconds or something and like until you like saw them and then say I see you, and they say
that shit
some hippy dippy shit.
So real, dude. That eye contact thing. I remember actually when she was doing that, I read a study back years ago, and it was about they took strangers and set them down in front of each other. They didn't say anything and just stared into each other's eyes for 2 minutes. And it's not like you're just kind of like looking, but like you really in these exercises you mean it.
Yeah.
And man, the connection that can happen from like direct eye contact like that when you take a second to, I guess, quote unquote, see somebody for real. It sounds silly, but it's a lot harder than it sounds. Like it's a difficult activity, like with a stranger too, like take it, to not like be super giggly and like to take it seriously and to be like, okay, and like kind of allowing that person to see you. Yeah. It was dope.
She knew what she was doing, and you help people like get comfortable and break the ice beforehand, and then it finally, after the whole day of shit, over like, a couple hours of like little activities of breaking the ice, then the music turns up and it's just everyone just fucking lets loose, drunk off this fucking chocolate.
Yo, speaking of now doing some parties and being around the world, even with the Amsterdam thing, what have been the places that you found have like the best nightlife in all your adventures?
I'll get to that in a sec. I want to close the loop on the Bali Mastermind party.
Oh, word.
So they donated 20% of the revenue to this orphanage that we actually just went to today.
Ah,
And that's what I was
gotcha.
doing today. It took a little bit longer, but we still got sunset. But anyway, I was just there with Trinity and Raid at the orphanage, playing around with some kids. Like, they were like on my back. I was like doing push-ups and like squats. Anyways, that was crazy. That was fun. You don't normally play with kids every day.
Was it
for
a
sure.
little bit heartbreaking at the same time?
I mean, yeah. That's the other part about. We'll get to nightlife in a sec.
Yeah.
But just living in a developing country, that's
1,000.
probably one of the biggest things that like I think about on a daily basis. It's just like a bummer or whatever you want to call it. It's just like you see poverty every day. You know, like you see people that live off like less than $10 a day or less than $5 a day.
It's made me in a strange way.
Yeah.
I've never been like a super like patriotic dude, but it's made me feel very grateful to be, I guess, an American, or be in that way where the, like you said, the poverty. I realize just how much privilege I have, you know, and that's I think being out here in one of those things just really puts it right in front of your face of knowing English as your native language, being a white guy, you know, and just what so much you get for either having U.S. currency and a U.S. passport. Where I'm not like, America, but I'm like just I've realized how blessed.
Yeah, we're very blessed just to be a Western person.
1,000.
And speak English.
That's
huge. That's everything.
Yes, but you take it for granted. You know what I mean? Like, I totally took that for granted. But you come out here, you realize, like, people are will throw money at you. Like, can you come? Just being out here in Bali, I've had, like, 3 offers to teach English to different people in schools and whatever, just because it's such a sought-after language that in the States, since everybody speaks it, we just kind of, it's invisible to us, you know?
There's kids out here that would, like, pay $1 million. They would chop off their hand just to be, like, fluent in English, you know? And confident with their English and whatnot. But anyway, living in a developing country, like, they're so awesome. You know, we can live out here because of remote work for an extended period of time. And the cost of living is obviously advantageous.
Huge.
But the flip side, it's like, you're around, you know, this, you know, basic income or whatever. You're around a whole nother socioeconomic level
1,000
every day. So it's just kind of like, it's like where it's just like I don't know what, you can't do anything about it. It's just like, wow, we're fucking blessed. Holy shit, people are just going day to day.
And Riley, it's something actually I want to ask you too, and so you can probably even hear them. One thing out here in Bali that's thrown me compared to Chiang Mai and my time in Thailand, a little bit in Malaysia, are the animals, like all the dogs, all the stray dogs and stuff. Like, does that?
Lots of dogs.
Does that?
That's weird.
Does that? In India, it was probably crazy too. Does that sort of stuff ever, like? Is it? What throughout your travels? What have it kind of been? What have been in your experience with just like crazy stray animals? Like, I feel
what have
like
been your stray animal? No, I don't have any crazy stray animal stories. Generally in Southeast Asia, it's a thing for there to be a lot of like stray dogs.
And in Vietnam,
like
is it
city
nuts?
dogs? Vietnam, no.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know why?
Because they eat them.
Yeah, they cook them. I've tried it. I have a couple
Really?
videos of trying dog. No harm, like. Love animals, but like I didn't kill it, dude.
No,
I just went to the restaurant
to
to shed light on the issue. Okay?
Shed
By
light.
doing the video, I'm gonna share light on a lot of people that may not know that they consume these animals. Not a lot, but like in Vietnam, like northern Vietnam and China, it's like just a regular thing. That's other cultures. Okay?
Yeah.
Like fucking calm down,
dude. Yeah, because that's even kind of with the poverty thing that kind of throws me for a loop sometimes. It's just like, it's like hella animals, just like wandering around. I'm just not used to it, you know.
So this about Bali, this is the most stray dogs I've seen of anywhere in the Southeast Asia. And I've asked a couple people why. I haven't really got a definitive answer of why. Maybe because the Hindu, they're just like karma and they like the reincarnation shit, and they just like don't want to like be harmful to them. They just like let them be.
What about in India?
Let them multiply. So I was only in India for like 5 days or 7 days. Didn't really notice a lot of stray dogs. Doesn't come to mind.
What was your take on that week? India's like up there.
Yeah, that week in India. So my Mumbai vlog got like 300K or something.
It's
views.
up there, yeah.
It's up there. It's like one of the multi-100K views ones. I think it's like top 10 views on my channel. Super fun day. It's just me, Parker and Danny. We had a tour guide and we're just touring around Mumbai, like went on the train and like drinking some chai, me trying some other street food. It's just a fucking fun day.
There's something about watching you and like the homies out there just like fucking around and eating street food that's like oddly compelling. Like I can see why.
I can see why.
I was going back to the rabbit hole, man. I was like, damn, Raleigh's been really out here for a hot minute.
I know, man. I've been so like, every time I go home and with my family, I'm like, dude, I've been to India.
Yo.
Like, I've been all up in China. I've been all around Japan. I've been to Colombia.
Riley,
Like, oh my god.
can I ask you some traveler questions?
Yeah.
In this joint, I know we're doing half and half, but I'm curious, just for me too, and my community, I think would be interested. Now, having done this for 3-4 years, I'd be curious on like, what are some tips when it comes to like either like gear? It could be like shirts or like stuff that you found like super helpful throughout your travels, and just like for people that would be interested in taking this kind of leap, like either like little tips where like, dude, you don't take yourself too seriously, or being like, you know what's really helpful is like this super fly pair of flip-flops that I have that like roll up in your bag. Like,
nah, the gear like doesn't really matter, man. Like the problem, my number one tip, just like little travel tip, is when you arrive, get your SIM card at the airport.
Really?
Yeah, get the SIM card at the airport on arrival. Just get it out of the way.
That's
that's been the number one thing. Oh, the other day we met the girls that I gave them the ride home.
Yes.
So the other day we met two like European German girls or whatever. Yeah.
Quick aside. So I'm at this hostel. I get here. Speaking of not having data, I get here. Fortunately, I have a friend who was already out here, shout out Jess, who hooked me up with this dope little hostel called Hideout Hostel, but it's like kind of in the cut. And I'm out there. One thing about Bali is definitely different than Chiang Mai. A lot of cuties out here. And so there are these two cute German girls at the hostel. We meet very briefly. It's not like we're best friends, but you kind of just get to know people at your hostel, whatever. Long story short, that night I go to a co-working space out here, which the community's pretty poppin', and go to an event, and Riley's at the event. And I'm like, dojo, yeah, it was a dojo. I was like, oh, that's cool. But anyways, I'm also, like I said, I'm a hungry dude. I've been grubbing hard. So I bounce from the event. I go get some grub, and I'm walking on my way home. I got like this popping little smoothie on like the way I'm just enjoying my life. I'm living that life. Yeah. And who do I bump into? But this dude riding back from the event. He's like, hey, we chop it up for a second, because Riley's been working on some dope shit for an online course. And so we're chopping it up, and then guess who strolls up with these two cute German girls, and they've been lost. They've been searching for like an hour. They don't have data on their phone. And fortunately, I tag team Riley, and since he knows the island better and is driving a scooter, escorts these ladies home, shows them back to the hostel.
Yeah. Moral of the story: get your SIM card
data
at the airport.
Yes.
Don't. Yeah, I always do that. Anyway, I have a link in the description for the best Bali SIM card. I already did a blog post
read
about
it today and took your advice.
Yeah. I sent it to you today. I also have a blog post about the best SIM card you should get in Chiang Mai or Thailand. Thailand. And that's actually one of the videos that got like 50,000 views, is like best SIM card in Thailand. Anyway,
it's because it just gives you so much freedom.
Obviously, you need to have your phone connected, and you need to have your phone unlocked before you travel. But anyway, all these little travel tips, I'll do a video on this soon, link in the description.
Dope.
And I'll also do a lecture inside my online course, which I'm making, which is all about like the digital nomad roadmap.
You guys need to peep that. This man got gems.
Yeah. The name for it right now is like Digital Nomad University. If anyone else has like a better name, hit me up.
I like that. Right?
I don't know, because it's kind of just like everything, starting from like, I know nothing, but I want to be a digital nomad. Like, what are my options to earn remotely from a laptop? And then how do I freaking work a side hustle? And then how do I tell everyone that I'm going to be, going abroad for a while? And then how to actually do it, and then when you get here, what to do.
That's actually huge, because I don't think a lot of people realize, I didn't realize this when you take the adventure, but there's so much to it that is mindset. There's like this element of it. There's I think university works because it's a little bit of 101, like some 201, some 501, where you have some like very tactical things that are very practical as well, like what's the best SIM card, et cetera, et cetera. But then there's kind of more like high level concepts that just from politicking with you and kind of chopping it up, having some jam sessions, I think we're on the same wavelength, but it took me a while to learn. And those are certain things like handling the kind of the aspect of being alone but not necessarily lonely, the pressure that you get from peers, people back home, family. There's a lot of these strange elements that it's not just about coming out here and like making money and like being able to support your lifestyle. There's a lot of kind of mindset that goes into it to kind of, and I think that's dope that you have that element incorporated, because that to me is almost the hardest. You can make money doing a zillion things. If you know English, you can always just get a job teaching English. But when it comes to those other elements of it that are a little bit more kind of amorphous, that not a lot of people talk about. There's a lot of top travel destinations and these sort of like very practical things, but not a lot about the emotional side of it, how to cope, how to deal with the day-to-day kind of when things don't work out, you lost your debit card, your bank won't contact you, like all this stuff that you gotta develop the mindset for.
Someone asked me the other day, like, Riley, like, how do you deal with like failures, like when you were starting? How did you stay motivated to keep going when like things failed at first? And like I thought about that, I was like, dude, like we just fucking you just have to have a mission. Like, it's so, you get it in your head at some point, it's so worth it for the long term to have a location independent career. Like, even if it takes you 10 years,
1,000%.
It's going to be worth it, because in 10 years, now you can live anywhere in the world you want.
Right.
You're not strapped into one city or one location.
Yeah.
You can take vacation whenever you want. Just set up your career like that from the get-go. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take a number of years.
Yeah.
For me, I was telling like the passive income journey the other day. We basically had another podcast unrecorded.
Unfortunately, I should have been recording you.
Yes. It was a good one. He like picked my brain about my whole story. But basically my passive income story around the time of discovering the 4-hour work week was like 2013 or something, or 2012. And once I got that dream of passive income, that just became the mission. Oh my God, $5,000 a month coming in like semi-automatically, like what would that do for my life? Whoa, I could live anywhere. I could just like go to the gym. I could make music. I would have all this free time. Like, whoa, like, yeah. So it took me like a good 2 to 3 years to try out different models of making money from a laptop / trying to get passive income. And finally, happened to end up on doing this Amazon hustle, but there's many other hustles that you can do. How do you stay motivated? Just like you just have to fucking want it bad enough. I don't know. Like, there's gonna be failures. Definitely expect your first couple projects to not work. Like the first couple projects are just like little business projects. You're just going to learn a lot.
And I think that is kind of the key to the whole thing, because being out here too, you meet a lot of people that are crushing it, like more than you can even imagine, like more money than you need every month, almost passive. But those same people, that's the beauty of it, that you realize that we're all going through the same thing. Those same people, like, that's the beautiful part about business and building your own thing, is that it's not like, oh, you get to this point and then you're set and I'm happy forever. It's like if you wanted to, like, just live out here on the beach in Bali and like sip pina coladas, like, you can do that probably now if you just like sold your car, and you could like do that for like years. But the point is, you got to find stuff that you're passionate about, and there are ups and downs. And so you'll talk to entrepreneurs, and there are these other levels where certain people, say you're making 40 G's a month passive, and you'll have, people have dinner with these people, and they'll be like, okay, but now it's a new set of challenges. It's, how do I stay inspired? Okay, so I've got the money, I've got the thing. How do I now find that same sense of purpose once you reach those levels? And I think I've sat down with others too, which we were talking about before, where when you sit down with these folks as well, once they're kind of on the other side, they'll often talk about the process. And I think, like you said, Riley, is kind of really embracing that element of it's going to take you time, and just embracing that, and like knowing that journey is kind of, that's the beauty. You know what I mean? Because if you end up sitting on the beach sipping penalized, like, that gets boring after like however many days. You know what I mean? Like now what? You know what I'm saying? And so I think that the point though that is I want to emphasize that you're making too is, it's a lot more achievable to set that up, but the key is just going for it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just putting the wheels in motion.
Yeah, just fucking doing it. And gave a talk at the Nomad Summit 2017 about my top 5 life hacks that made me a digital nomad. And like obviously one of the obvious ones is like surround yourself with people on the same mission. This is like 101 for us.
That's
like,
huge.
So like go to a conference, and I always plug Nomad Summit is every year in Chiang Mai in January. You got it.
That was a game changer for me. That was a game changer. That's why I'm actually working on online course.
Yep.
Right now. That was and
okay, so that inspired you to do the online course because of the speech about it.
Exactly. There was a guy up there. I was going a totally different direction, which I still want to go with the music, but I'm telling it here because it's my little secret path, so don't bite it. But I was on that mission. I went to this conference, Digital Nomad Summit. Shout out Johnny, one of the other big reasons I'm out here.
Yep.
And there's a guy named Sean Dalton who was a photographer for the event. I think maybe the year you spoke.
Yeah.
And then the next year he was presenting on how he was killing it with online courses. And like you said too, even with yours, I just really, it was the kick in the ass I needed because you realize that this is the new wave of kind of education.
Yeah.
You get to learn what you want to learn.
Yeah, so if you can, get 3 weeks off, much better than 2 weeks, and go to the Digital Nomad Summit in Chiang Mai in January. And
Riley, what other conferences you go to you recommend? Like even stuff for me?
Nah, don't really. That's it.
Is it more just than co-working and networking that you recommend?
I mean, go to fucking any conference you can. Oh, actually, Johnny's doing another Nomad Summit in Cancun. Yeah, in the fall, I believe, or maybe the summer. Check the link below, or just go to nomadsummit.com. So he's doing and last year he did one in Las Vegas too. So he's doing them. So yeah, that's where you can like meet people on the same mission, maybe like partner up with someone somehow, or get a good idea.
Inspiration from peeps doing similar stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because they often have similar priorities. There are a lot of elements that go into, I think often folks that do the digital nomad thing, often an element of minimalism. There's usually an appreciation for other cultures, and you're interacting with just from encountering people from other cultures, you learn so much. You know, I'm doing the same thing out here that I'd be doing back home, except I just feel like I'm learning so much out here because of bumping into people like you. You know, you get to really see what people are up to, and that is super inspiring.
Yeah, it really is crazy. And then obviously, if you can stay in Chiang Mai, or Bangkok or Saigon or Bali for digital nomad hotspots in this part of the world, then there will be meetups like all the time, general ones or specific ones where you can meet like-minded people. Like in Bali, that huge mastermind party was fucking crazy. They had a VIP thing that I paid for. It was like a more intense mastermind kind of VIP thing that I did with like only 20, limited to like 20 people. So yeah, any type of mastermind or conference really is good, obviously, to do. And then there's online communities. There's freaking Facebook groups.
Those Facebook groups, man. Is that in your university? Because those Facebook groups, that has been a game changer.
Yeah, we're gonna have our own Facebook group.
Dope.
But yeah, in general, it's like a virtual community.
You'll have, if you want, you can learn so much about places from those Facebook groups, and also like find housing, find used items, find people. Like, they have been invaluable for me. I have someone subletting my apartment right now. I'm off a Facebook group back in Chiang Mai, just because they're so support. I mean, not all of them. Sometimes it turns into just like typical shitty, spammy online marketing bullshit. But for a lot of them, it'll be really helpful. You can, as long as you don't ask the same stupid questions, like search for questions first, see if they're already answered, and you won't get kind of flippant answers. But I found those incredibly useful.
Yeah, Facebook groups are this. You can find anything on Facebook
that
groups.
Community element.
It's great. There's a Facebook group for everything. But yeah, that's a big thing for people. Want to be this digital nomad life, want to go off the beaten path. You want to do your own thing. Someone like me and Kia here, and if you're still listening to this podcast, then you're definitely someone to go off the beaten path and trying to figure it out. Just like we were both listening to Travel Like the Boss podcast.
Yes. I listened to an episode this morning.
Nice.
I've been playing out other elements, and actually something I wanted to ask you, Riley, because I'm curious about this. This wasn't in my off-air podcast interview, which we did the other day, but when when were you inspired with the travel element? Because I'm curious for you. I knew it was the passive income and the business element, but you're from Washington State, yeah? Yeah. Shout out WA. When did that start? Did you travel as a kid? What?
No,
What's
so
the impetus for
to
that?
go back, I've thought about the philosophy of this. So when they ask you what do you want to be as a kid,
Yeah.
so I remember this. So the two things I wanted to be was an archaeologist. That's because of Indiana Jones.
Yo, Indiana Jones was the man.
And also an astronaut. So I look back
Ooh.
to third grade, and I remember like me and like my friend Sam were like, "Do you want to be archaeologists together?" We were like, "Yeah." And so I look back and I was like, maybe that was the travel, the exploratory gene in me coming out. I wanted to be
Raiders of the Lost
yeah,
Ark.
I wanted to be in India. I wanted to be in Egypt, and I always knew, and it was trippy when I went to India because all through my childhood, my whole life, I had this vision like someday I'll be in India. And when I went to India, I was like, damn, this is surreal. Like, I made it. I'm in India.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so I think the gene is in a lot of us. Let's keep it real. Everyone wants to travel the world. Let me know in the comments right now if you have a friend that was like, nah, I probably don't want to
Facts.
travel the world one day.
You
Like,
just hating. Why they always hating?
you know?
Yeah.
Let's just make it honest. And I realize this more and more. Everyone wants to travel the world and make money.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to travel the world, make passive income, do exciting things, take awesome Instagram pictures, make some sick videos, meet interesting people, have good conversations, good food, good drink, good culture, good sex, good relationships, good fitness,
It's
good
important.
intellectual stimulation, learning a lot, fucking partying, and being creative.
I feel like that's the ultimate.
That's the ultimate life.
I wish.
Everyone wants the same things.
Yo, that's so funny. I think I meet maybe like 3 of those requirements. Mine are like, it's like make music, eat good food, go to bed, work out, repeat. Like, it's so funny how at the end of the day, someone playing that good old steel drum is. You're right though. Where like I think in the States there's an element of it where we do such a good job of kind of brainwashing our people that we're the best, so that we don't. A lot of people I don't feel the need to travel or to go to other places. I meet so many people out here that they're like, what do you talk? Like, their cultures really promote travel. I think, and the way our news is set up and structured, there's like almost like a xenophobia of like, watch out from people from the Middle East, from Mexicans, we're getting invaded. And it's like, dog, like, have you met any other people from? It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's it just is really mind blowing. And so I think there is an element of it where some people, to be honest, I have met some of the people who are like, no, not travel, man. I'm not trying to go live in the jungle somewhere. And it's just like, we have this crazy stereotype, I think, from the States of what it's actually like to leave. You know?
What, like my first couple years living abroad, I remember going back and someone was asking me some question about that. And I was like, they're like, what have you realized? And I was like, because when you live in abroad, you're not just hanging around other Americans all day. That's one of the huge things. One of the huge things you're hanging around. Europeans. Well, yeah. So Germans, Icelandic.
There you go.
Germans, French, English, Australian, Indian, freaking Japanese, Mexican, South American, you know, Peruvian. It's people from like on a regular basis. You go to the gym, it's going to be a mix of countries from all around the world. It's not just going to be, you know, mostly Americans, which is, you know, if you're in America, you know, mostly that. It's going to be fucking, like I said, like my friends out here are not just Americans. It's a mix of all countries. It's crazy.
It's been really interesting. And that, I think, is part of it, where just having that, like, you learn so much. And I realize how, even on the flight over here, actually, a couple weeks ago, there was a Scandinavian couple, and they were telling me about, like, I realized how much our history that we grew up learning is like so like U.S. centric history. It's like the way that like other countries interacted with us. When you actually come out here to some of the places like this, or in Southeast Asia, wherever, China, you realize how young the states are. Yeah. Like, you'll go to some temples or some shit here, and you just like on some hippy dippy shit. Yeah. I don't feel like that like history in the States. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I don't go to Boston and I'm like, yo, this place is. I'm like, oh, this place is majestic. This Boston. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is like a couple hundred years ago. Some white dudes came over and were like, oh, this is our land. We're like, out here, you'd be like, yo, it's just you can feel it.
Yeah,
you
this
know,
shit goes back to like that's what they call these islands, the islands of the gods.
crazy.
There's like in Ubud, you can go on this Ubud tour. I've vlogged it. It'll be coming out soon. You can check the link in the description. Just look for Ubud tour, living that life, and you go to all these like historic sites. There's like the one of the king of Bali, and it's like still standing. It's like these 4 huge statues like carved into this kind of mountain, and they're like, yeah, this was the site of the king of Bali. Yeah, like hundreds
nuts.
of years ago. Like crazy stuff. Yeah.
We don't got that shit in the States, dog. So
Yeah.
that's that. I
Yeah.
get that's key stamp for approval
anyway,
as well.
and so what I said to someone, I was like, they're like, what did you learn from living abroad? I'm like, I kind of learned that America is just like one of the countries. It's not the best country in the world. It's just one of them on the list of 160. something.
Yes.
You know, like, you know, when you're like signing up for something, you got to select your country, put in your
Yeah.
address.
Yeah.
And sometimes the U.S. is like always at the top.
At the top, always.
U.S. UK. I like it when it's not always at the top and you got to go through the huge list. Fucking Uganda,
United
like all the,
Arab
like,
Emirates, United
frickin'
outlying
yeah,
islands.
Kazakhstan. And you just see all the other ones and just like realize, the America is just one country. It's not the best in the world. It's okay, self-proclaimed, whatever. That's cool, but it's not the only shit that's
Dude,
popping. There's a million countries that are popping.
Yo, and
Yeah.
there's so much that other countries do so well that in the States we gotta sometimes get our shit together. Even another couple I was talking to, they were Swedish, I think, and they were talking about how in their culture they work. The woman is a physical therapist, the guy was an engineer, and they work like 32 hours a week. But that's like average. Like their government isn't trying to like force them to work like 60 hours a week. They like work 32, and then they're like, you guys work 40 hours a week. I'm like, that's like minimum in the States. It's
Yeah.
like their time off, their leave. She had maternity leave. They got like a year paid leave, all this type of shit. It's starting to rain, so I'm worried about your camera.
No, it's good. We're
That's
good.
cool. Okay. And it was just like crazy how much their culture. She was talking about being in the States. They didn't have homeless people because the way that their government took care of people, and so those type of things that you just like learn different ways it can be done.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just like, yeah, when you get out here, you're living abroad. Yeah, a whole nother perspective.
it's a whole nother
And
perspective.
so I want to ask you, remind me, so this is a common theme that I get, guys.
Yeah.
And something that I recommend, you know,
a
lot. is if you're looking towards this type of like, even just like traveling for a few years or doing a sabbatical, or like living abroad for a while, or even just being a digital nomad for a few years, or being a digital nomad forever, like I'm gonna be. Just take a vacation across the world, and I say like the 4-hour work week says,
Yeah.
2 weeks is TOOWEAK. 2 weeks is 2 week. Try to get 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and do a fucking Southeast Asia tour. And a lot of people do it, and that will give you just like the little sauce,
The
little
sauce.
sauce, and then the little mind opening. And then if you go back home and you don't want to go back or don't want to travel more, good, you got it out of your system. But if you say like, oh, I could like live abroad for a year, then start to make it happen. How do you live abroad for a year? There's a few ways you can do it. You can teach English at an actual school. Okay?
Tons of those opportunities.
Or you could get a job for a local company. You can look into it. Some people doing it. I haven't met too many people. That's not a very common one in my personal experience. But then again, I am in my own little digital nomad bubble. Number 3 is you can work for a company remotely.
Yes.
So work for a company in your home country. Just work remotely. Look into it. I have guides on it, etc., on how to make that happen. And then number 4 is you can teach English online, and there's many different websites.
That's what I'm doing right now to pay the
That's what
bills.
you're doing right now.
Yep.
I've met at least 5 guys and girls personally hung out with who do that full-time or part-time.
And that's another thing too, is if you want to do some sort of other hustle, the teaching English is just a great way that you can pay unless you
can
really
supplement, yeah.
exactly. If you
Supplement your side
are really
hustle.
passionate about teaching English, do it. But it's just a way. It just buys you runway because you can support your life out here on so little. It buys you time to build whatever else.
So if you don't know what that is, real quick, you can make up to $20 an hour.
Yes.
By like basically Skype calling with Chinese kids.
Or more. hit me up on DM. I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah, he knows more about it. He's the expert. And then the fifth way and the best way, of course. Okay, 2 more ways. And then fifth way is freelancing. So start a freelancing profile on Upwork and look into other freelancing profiles, but Upwork is the main one. And you can do freelance work for clients, whether it's graphic design or language translation or video editing
ads,
or copywriting or Facebook
Yes.
ads or PPC or Instagram management
Yes,
or social media account management.
A lot of people need that.
Yes, freelancing. And then the sixth way, and this is the best way, is build a business.
Build
an
your biz.
online business. And what is a business? It's something that you own that works 24/7 and works week in, week out, month in, month out. Whether you're not, whether you're there actively doing shit or not. So like Amazon, having a product on Amazon, that's a business. Me and Parker, like no matter what we do this week, it's still gonna make us that passive income.
Right.
Creating a website, that's a business. It like makes money overnight. Whereas if you're freelancing, you know, it's not necessarily making money overnight because you're doing the work. But you can take your freelancing and turn that into an agency, which is what I'm doing. Is you basically get jobs on freelancing profiles and then outsource the work to other freelancers for like half the price.
Yeah, it's like any type of like builder or carpenter or plumber in your hometown. It's not just going to be the one dude. Like if you hire so and so, he's going to like send a couple of his guys that he's trained to come do the plumbing. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole key, is actually is figuring out a way to outsource it.
I know a dope way to do this. I'm just gonna put this right here, and then we're gonna move to
back
those
up.
chairs.
Sweet.
Yeah. 2-minute break.
2-minute break.
Intermission. Get some tea. Get some Red Bull. Whatever you guys like, and then go ahead and sit down right there, and then I'll refocus it. This video is sponsored by. What is this video sponsored by?
We need some sponsorships.
What I like to do is I like to remind myself that like my videos, like I should not be ashamed of like shouting at plugging my own shit all the time.
Yeah.
So I love to say this video is sponsored by my own shit. This video is sponsored by my own online courses. You know?
Yes.
And your shit is sponsored by your own online
yes.
courses.
I think that's actually
it's like better than another random fucking company.
Exactly. Better than doing ad reels and stuff. Being like, you know, I know a lot of people that do that actually. Like dope people that runs up say, you know what, this podcast is sponsored by my whatever course or my product.
Skillshare.
Exactly. So that way, instead of rolling some other ads, some other that you still have to sit through.
do an ad for themselves.
Exactly. You just get it's it's sponsorship by whatever my program or product is.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been doing that at the end of a lot of videos. I'll put like it's like a little 30-second clip. I say like 30-second clip. It's like, yo guys, I finally hear it. It's finally here. I made my digital nomad university. It's the fucking roadmap. If you're an aspiring digital nomad, check it out.
I think
So
that's perfect.
Plug your course at the end of every video.
Yes.
Get that funnel started.
And another thing that Riley was actually talking about too, that I just wanted to touch on about building out income, is thinking about if you are going to build some sort of business or want to do some sort of remote work, is think about things that you can do and kind of also scale. So whether that is like you're a coach or something, you can always hire other people, train them to be coaches for you. Or if it was something like a skill of graphic design, you can then bring on another graphic designer and then hire out those jobs. It doesn't have to be as linear as I run some sort of crazy business. It could just be something that you like to do, you're good at. And again, even with the online courses, that's what I loved about Digital Nomad Summit that kicked my own ass. And now I tell people this all the time, is you don't have to be some crazy world-renowned expert. I'm not just Blaze, you know what I mean? I'm not DJ Premier, but just if you're good enough to be able to teach a beginner, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be some crazy skill. It can be like how to make candles or like toilet train a cat, like strange stuff that you already do that you like and are good at. It doesn't have to be playing the piano or something that hard of a skill.
Yeah, this is the online course revolution. This is the education revolution.
This is the revolution, y'all.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the like. I've been watching YouTube for I don't know 8 years, and like I watch the big like tech, news and stuff, and they're like, what industry is going to be disrupted next? The education system. It's the slowest to be disrupted because it takes a lot for like public schools and colleges to change.
Big businesses.
But the revolution is happening on YouTube and the internet. There's so many amazing online courses created by independent creators that they know their shit and they're passionate about teaching actually.
Exactly.
You know, they're way more passionate than your high school teacher who's just like, fuck, I gotta go to work today.
Yes.
Fucking just get these fucking kids out of here. You know?
Dude.
You know, the best teachers when we look back are the ones that like were actually, you know, into it and like had energy. So these are the people that are coaching online because they're choosing to. And they're like making multiple six figures a year.
Exactly.
Like some of them make $1 million a year because they're selling their like $9.97 course to people like every day, and they're making like $1,000 a day, and they're enrolling students all the time because their course is the shit, and they got their ClickFunnels system down, and they're plugging their courses into the right Facebook groups, and they're doing paid video ads on Instagram, and they're just getting people that like want to learn this shit, and the internet's amazing for fucking online courses. Yeah, there you go.
And you know, to be honest, that as crazy as that seems, it's actually not even that complicated. If you get super niche, and there are so many success stories like this online, we all have the same like 5 fears, and it's really easy to talk yourself out of it. But if there's one sort of thing that you can do that is like interesting or unique, like that you're passionate about, I cannot recommend it enough, because you don't, and I love that I recommend this marketing advice all the time, is that the point isn't to be for everybody. You might say, oh, well, maybe I can make candles, but I'm not as good as Yankee Candle. It's like, that's not the point. Like, there's going to be like 10 people that really fuck with your vibe, and they just really like the way that you make candles or whatever it is that you do. And then if those people, you say, hey, can you tell one other person? Cool, you get another cut. It's like to really niche down on, this is stealing from Seth Godin, the smallest viable audience. And so it's not to shoot huge, like just as few people as possible to get your thing going and really mean the world to those people. And if you're true to yourself, you will have a unique product because your teaching style will be unique to you. You know, I had so many professors, teachers, whatever that other people loved. It didn't jive with me. And I think I even told you this. I do a little bit of yoga every morning. There's so many like skinny white girls on yoga that have millions and millions of followers, but there's this one like Filipino mom. She has like 15,000 subscribers on YouTube, and hers are the ones I like just because I fuck with her vibe, you know. And so it's really easy to talk yourself out of it because you'll see all your competition, etc. But if you're really true to you, there is no competition because you're the only you there is. So, and people will vibe with that. Like it really will. It blows your mind when you realize how big the internet is. So, man, I Riley hit it on the head, dude. That kind of online course creation, especially as someone who I was teaching high school for a little bit, and you realize how many teachers are in it for summers because they don't have to teach in the summers. It's so crazy how many people are in that profession. And first of all, in the States, an underpaid position, you're overworked anyway, so I don't blame them. But if you're in that job for the time off, it's like, it really blows. I don't blame them. It's a fucking exhausting, crazy job.
Yeah, in an ideal, perfect world, they're in it for the education, for the help, for the learning, and many are. Probably most are. But anyway, in the online education world, usually as well, a lot of people are, maybe in it for the money too, but usually they're in it because they know this shit. And
they're like, excited about it.
They're excited. They're excited about making money too.
Like
me too. Like, and you too, because it's so sick. You can make money teaching, which like I think a lot of people love teaching. Teaching is fun. Like it feels good to like help other people and like see people like grow and change and get something out of like what you gave. Like, whoa, that's cool. But you can do it from anywhere, and it can be a source of passive income. So this is the goal for like all of us. Our online course is like on our website or whatever. But we're running like Instagram ads, and we're like ideally hire a marketing team to like put like little seeds out there in Facebook groups and like YouTube ads, and like get this out there to your specific target audience. And the cool thing about the internet is you can target audiences through Facebook and Instagram. You can target people who like candle making magazines and just like target your candle making course to them, and fucking done.
Another thing too, Riley, piggybacking off of that, is, and another element that you can do is, if you are passionate about your candle making, just start making content around candle making. And you will start to see people that really fuck with it. And it's like just free stuff, like just put out stuff on YouTube. This is you talking to somebody who's built a dope following. And it's not in it for the money, like, you know what I mean? Like Riley's just been putting stuff out for years.
Of course,
Content, and like you start to put out stuff about candles, whatever. You'll have like moms or young people, whoever it is, hit you up and like, oh man, this was so cool. How do you do this and that? You start helping people. You get into that community. You really help people, and you kind of just give them the stuff that you're passionate about, and you'll realize how many people are actually out there that are into your thing, your product, and then before you know it, you have an audience, and then you can sell them anything. Like that's
just make the course and they will get it. Like, just like offer. I don't even like the word sell. Just like offer them like something that will like be done for. Hey, like, I really want to help you. Like, I don't have time to freaking like talk to you on the phone for 4 hours, but you can buy this course. I recorded everything you need to know.
I tell that to bloggers all the time. They're like, oh, I can't make any money off ads. I'm like, that's this big of a blog, your ad revenue. It's like, make a dope blog, get people that are signing up for it every single week, want to hear what you're talking about, and then you can sell them a course on mindset, or you can sell them a course on whatever it is you're into that brings value. And since they're already fucking with you, you've given them so much, they don't mind paying you a shitload of money because they know, trust you, and you've helped them out a ton. This
is exactly what happened to me. Like, first 3 years, I didn't have a course, and then they're like, how do you a digital nomad, bro? Like, okay, we get it. You're fucking having fun living that life, bro. Like, how the fuck are you doing this, bro? And I'm like, I'm just fucking selling on Amazon. And then I made like a few free tutorial videos, and then in the comments people were like, how do I get your coaching? Like, do you have a course? And then I was like, oh fuck, I should make a course.
Yes, if you don't know what to do a course on, start just making content on stuff you're passionate about, and people will tell you. People will ask you for shit. That's actually really dope, because you don't even have to do the hard part, because people will tell you exactly what they want, and then you can give them what they want. It's like not rocket science.
People will ask you. So everything we're talking about today in this podcast can be largely summarized in the 4-Hour Work Week.
Yes, that's true.
4-Hour Work Week was written in 2007. Talks about, you don't have to be an expert. Just be better than like 90% of people.
Yes.
And how do you know what to teach? What are you teaching in your daily life? What do people ask you about?
Exactly.
Offer that, and 4-Hour Work Week talks about online courses as one form of potential passive income. That's what we're both going into. And obviously, becoming a personal brand ties right in with that. So in my digital nomad course, I'm talking about a long-term goal that we all should have is have a personal brand built around ourselves. It can just be your name, Kia Orion, Riley Bennett, freaking Seth Godin has a huge personal brand, and that is what entrepreneurs say is actually the most stable business. Because no matter what happens, no matter what social media platforms come and go, people will know you as you. You can't get fired from being you. People will buy your books, they'll buy your courses. If you can build a fan base of people that like know, like, can trust you, you're rich for life.
And you can switch that into anything. You can, like, I love the Gary Vaynerchuk example. He was like the wine guy, and then he's the social media guy, and he's like the motivational guy. And who knows what he's next? Because if it's personal brand, if you pivot yourself into one business, if I'm like the cool tree company, and then you want to like jump into like I don't know, something else, it's hard. But if you're just Riley Bennett, you can be digital nomad, and who knows what you're going to grow into. And so it just allows you that room to go. It's a slower build, and it'll be harder. It's not going to be the fast money. But
it's a 5-10 year play.
Exactly.
To build an audience around you.
It's a longer play, but the payoff is a lot.
Absolutely. It will be for life. Again, we have to have these, like Joel from Addicted to Success was talking at the Bali Mastermind Party, and he always talks about his 10-year vision. And so I'm going to start thinking about that more. But just think about like 5-10 years, guys. Like, start making these little YouTube videos, these Instagrams, these blog posts, and then slowly, it's a 5-10 year play. And then in 5 years, like, oh my God, maybe you could have 10,000 followers on Instagram or 10,000 subscribers. Like, whoa, that's not going anywhere. You're going to have that for life.
And what's crazy, Riley, is it's probably going to happen way faster than that.
Exactly.
Like, you set that for 5 years, and you really start chipping away at it, and you realize that shit actually goes hella fast. It's just... It's putting one foot in front of that, and like Riley said too, like not being afraid to fail. And it might seem like a lot up front, but once you kind of start getting into it, people start to see what you're doing. If you're consistent, it's good content. People fuck with it.
And people also ask me, is it still too late to get into YouTube?
Yes.
Dude, I have 2 friends that are just starting right now their channels. Probably more than that. Grant, he's a friend from high school, just came out to visit. He's like starting his like travel channel. He's been like traveling a lot. Another homie, entrepreneur. He's been an entrepreneur for like 4 years in Saigon. Just starting his channel Zen Hustle, starting from 0 subscribers, just making daily videos, and he's just like making quick little videos. Some are screen share, some are him just like talking about whatever the fuck he was gonna talk about that day anyway. With like what conversation did he just have with someone in his company? He's just gonna share that 5-minute little tip tip.
Yes, and that's the thing too. Speaking of, it's never too late. Being out here, I actually meet hella digital nomads that have like already had a full career and are now transitioning. So like, don't think this is like some young people's game. Like, if you want to make it happen, you can totally make it happen. There are a bunch of folks that are like in the older age bracket that aren't just like out here 20s and fist pumping, like that are out here with families, whatever. Like, that's the beautiful part. It's the wild, wild west. Like, the internet doesn't care who you are, what you are, if you're putting out good stuff. Like, don't let the age thing. It's really never too late.
People like you, they like you.
Exactly. And if you're doing good stuff, like that's what I meant too about earlier. If it's like, whether it's drop shipping or FBA, people are like, oh, is it too late for that? It's like, there will always be room for you if you're willing to put in the work, find your lane, do something unique. Online courses, anything works.
Exactly.
You know, you can really do anything.
It's never too late. Like, if you're watching this podcast or listening to it, then you're such an early adopter.
Exactly.
Like, the people that are late, they're watching TV right now.
Exactly.
You're not watching TV. You're listening to a fucking podcast.
Facts.
Like an hour in.
Facts.
Like, so anything.
Yo, if you made it this
like,
far, you a real one.
Yeah, you're a real one. Let us know in the comments. Anyway,
should we wrap this thing?
Yeah, let's wrap it. Subscribe to Kia's podcast, and leave a review too. I haven't even asked that at all. Like, people, if you're finding me on iTunes, because I forget people even found me on iTunes. Leave a review if you are coming on iTunes or whatever.
If you guys are peeping the podcast, review that shit.
A kid, 21-year-old kid, just hit me up, and I actually did a podcast with him on my second YouTube channel. He found me because he typed in Thailand to Apple Podcast. Because he was planning a trip, and he went down the wormhole. Just like people who found Travel Like a Boss. Found me on iTunes.
Y'all, that's what I'm talking about, the content shit. You never realize who you're going to affect, and then someday some person says, oh, hey, Riley, you completely changed my life. I'm out here in Thailand. You know what I mean? And so, like, you really don't know the effect of your reach until you just start putting that energy out there into the world. That is, I didn't know that, Riley. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. People like listen to my podcast. It's crazy. I didn't realize it.
So review it too, so more people can see that.
It's
got good content.
Yep. And thanks for the mics, by the way.
As the mic supported by Kia, video supported by Riley, or provided. So appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for tuning in, Riley.
It's been real.
It's been real.
That was dope.
Peace.
See you in Bali. See, that went all the way one clip. Yo guys, all right, thanks for watching. So it's finally here. I finally created my digital nomad masterclass / digital nomad tribe. So if you are an aspiring digital nomad, it's literally my mission to help more people get out here and make this life reality. So it's linked below. Check it out. It's finally here. See you guys there.